For centuries, South Africa's official languages were European, Dutch, English and Afrikaans. African languages, which are spoken by at least 80% of the country's indigenous people, were ignored. In 1996, South Africa's new constitution gave official protection to all major languages. With the recent addition of sign language, South Africa's constitution now recognizes 12 official languages. Professor Lolie Makhubu-Badenhorst, Chairperson of the Pan-South African Language Board, joins us now for a discussion on the importance of promoting all languages as part of the country's heritage. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us, Professor. Pan-South has done quite a lot of laudable work around the promotion of indigenous languages, and if you monitor the use of it officially as part of the curriculum, how far have we come as a country almost 30 years on?
Good evening to you, and thank you so much for having us, and happy Heritage Day to you. We really celebrated it in style here in KZN with the Deputy President. As the Pan South African Language Board, I think we've taken tremendous strides because, as you would know, we were advocating for the officialization of the South African Sign Language. And as you know now, it is now the 12th official language. And we are using our languages. And probably I should have said to you when I'm greeting you in sign language, meaning hello, or ndematekwane, sawubona, good evening, nan, and so on and so on. Ke tshepa gore laphe.
In fact, I should have done the same. But let's talk about that. The fact that we almost, use English as, we fall back on it naturally because I don't know if it's the assumption that we think we won't understand each other. Why is it our default language? Why do we assume even amongst black community default to English?
Yeah, it is sad. I don't think that, Rome was built in one day. So it will take us a while, but we, as a country, we are getting there. And, for us, because we are using this medium, this platform. But I suppose that when me and you, if we were meeting in person, probably I would have said to you, Dumela, Rwe Soto, and so on. But we need to be sensitive and to be mindful of our viewers, because not all our viewers would understand what we are conversing or what we're talking about. But if it's person to person, I think as a country we have taken a tremendous stride, because I know for a fact that if I visit to Limpopo, I need to use Kibulele, and then if I'm in the Western Cape, I've got Afrikaans, Tetis Xhosa, and in English. When I go to the Free State in person, Soto, Afrikaans, English, and in Mpumalanga, Swati, Lochise, Ketu, and so on. But because we're using this national platform, unfortunately for us, we do not know who our viewers are. So me and you, Rekabwa Soto, but unfortunately, it won't benefit some of our people in the country. But as a country, we are getting there, because when we meet in person, even if you come and greet me or say something, Kasi Soto, I can respond to you ngesizulu ngikuze ukuthi uthini, sikhulume kahle, nawe uphendule ngesisuthu sizwane kahle. So I think in that sense, people are taking pride, and as you know, that language and culture go hand in hand, and the language is our heritage. And the theme for this year's heritage is that we are celebrating our cultural diversity in this democratic country. So, but in this medium, unfortunately or fortunately, we have to use English for the benefit of our viewers.
Erike becha na hona le bareng bothata ba rona ke bo agisane bona tletlebo ya bona e leng hore that we officiate this. The FW de Klerk Foundation is saying that government has failed to implement the Official Languages Act. If you look at our politicians, for instance, even at international events, they will not use their own home languages. Other country leaders do. They will, as I said, default to English and rather have their speech be interpreted in other languages, whereas this could be done here in South Africa. They could speak their own home language and have that interpretation done in English or Afrikaans.
No, absolutely. Well, I can say yes and no to that, to that effect. Because when you have, for instance, just now we had the BRICS, and we had the Chinese also visiting us. Always they use their Mandarin language. We attended the function just the other day here in Durban. And they brought their interpreters and they converse, entirely using Mandarin or their Chinese language. But when it comes to us as Africans, then we tend to then speak, and use the language. But, if, for instance, we can then find that, if our president is visiting China, what's wrong with the president taking Movenda, Ambechi Venda there and have his interpreter? Or if I Musoto, Atamaili interpreter, and then, so that then we can lead by example. But you know what, we are making noise as pencil. And then I think to a certain extent, we are being heard and people are gaining a little, they are gaining confidence because, remember, our people, their minds are still colonized. People still think they associate the intelligence with English. And, and think that, if you speak English, you are articulate, Zulu, Noma in English, skipping a makala, you are the model C, then, you are intelligent. Whereas when you are using your own language, they undermine themselves. But then people are gaining confidence in using their languages. And we as PENSAP, we are making noise and we are giving them that assurance. So we hope that, someday we will overcome. But we are getting there and we are not going to give up.
If 8 in 10 South African children struggle to read by the age of 10, is part of the problem not in the homestead? And I'm just thinking here that were we to publish more children's books in our native languages, would that also not help to inculcate a culture of not only learning one's own home language, but also making it popular? It's sad to hear and see parents say very proudly, so isn't that also part of the problem?
Absolutely, it is. The problem is us, as parents, we then don't encourage our children to use their language. So their languages or our languages. So, and the books, they will really help. And also the publishers, some of the publishers, they say when we talk to them as pencil or as universities, for instance, when you say that, here's the book that I've published, in Xhosa, in Zulu, and so on. And they say that they don't sell because, they don't get the market for that. They don't do that. They don't read the stories. Thina sisakhula, abazali babesixoxela inganekwane ngesiZulu. Kosixhosi and so on. Tsatilele, katsatilele, this happened, and so on and so on. But these days, they just glued on TV and it's English and it's English and it's English. But you know what, with English and SABC, I'm glad that SABC is now using our languages. So, and yes, we actually then encourage and also we are happy that, at least our children, even if they're not getting their languages from the mother, but in the social medias and also on TV, they're getting it, and even at school. So we want to encourage that the parents, use English, use our languages, and don't use English at home. And, it's unfortunate that right now it's Heritage Day, Naluena, Haribu, we're still not using our languages. And when you're looking at both of us, Narika was so to but yeah, we're getting there, but we don't want to give up.
As they would say, Kasipitoli neretla toloka. Me Lolie Makhubu-Badenhorst re lebogile go menagane enkosi. Do enjoy the rest of your Heritage Day, and kaleleng letsatsi we will have the whole conversation in all 12 languages. Thank you very much.
Nka se thabela seo le nna ke go leboga go menagane. Have a wonderful evening. O hlole sentle.
Ra leboga mma.